morning, Boniface here once again, and I'm delighted to be able to join you to share with you nuggets of wisdom that will inspire you and uplift you to become better than you are. The only way to enjoy life is to become like you, better than you were yesterday. Any time that you find yourself being stuck in a repetitive cycle of living the same way, the same way, the same way, then your life begins to be boring. Life is not created to be a mundane repetition of the obvious. It is created to be a dynamic transition of adventures that are always increasing your energy levels. And so today, I want to just add on what we spoke on our last broadcast. In our last broadcast, we began to discuss about how to jumpstart your life from a victim to a victor. And we began talking about 4 critical things that you must do if you're going to jumpstart your life. We talked about you must stop being a complainer. Number 2, we talked about you must stop being negative. Number 3, we talked about you must refuse to have a troubled heart. And number 4, we talked about you must refuse to be passive. This moment, I am very delighted to be able to bring you another set of tools that are going to inspire you and challenge you to move to the next level. And I'm going to talk about 4 things that are needed for you to be able to rise up from a crisis into a season of productivity. Productivity does not happen by accident. Productivity is a deliberate act that is actualized when you decide to do something with the time you have, with the talent you have, and with the energy you have. But having time and having talent is not enough. You need to add certain things for that mixture to come together and create something that is fabulous and something that is productive. Productivity is the name of the game. A life that is not lived being productive is a life that is being lived without moving forward, is a life that is being lived without yielding a purposeful end and achieving a productive destiny. Let me share with you 4 things that you must do if you're going to move from crisis to productivity. By the way, let me begin by saying that crisis is an opportunity to be productive and to be creative. Crisis is not an opportunity to sit down and fold your hands like a rained-on chicken and complain about how things are. It is a time for you to rise up and say, I have got what it takes, and I am going to take what life has given me, and I'm going to turn it around to move forward and to be able to be productive in my life. Number 1, if you're going to be productive in life, you have got to be driven by a positive purpose. The purpose of life is not to exist and fill space. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. What is your purpose in life? Purpose is simply the problem that you are created to solve. Anytime somebody is born into this world, anytime a baby is born, they are hardwired with the gifts, with the talents that are required for them to live a purposeful life. There is nobody who was created empty. Everybody was created to bring something in this world. Everybody was created with a talent. Everybody was created with a gift. Everybody was created with a skill that they can use to solve the problems of life and be able to achieve a productive end to their lives. Have you found out what your purpose is, or are you just living every day from crisis to crisis? Anytime we lack a sense of purpose in life, instead of living life by design, we live life from crisis to crisis. You need to sit down and ask yourself, what is that one thing in my life that if all jobs were paying the same salary, what is that one thing I would do? And that is how you begin to find your purpose. I remember when I was a young boy and I was in class 2 in a school called Tumaini Primary School. I was a very noisy boy and I was a very chaotic young boy in that class. And I remember one of my teachers wrote in my report form and said, Boniface is a very lazy and noisy young boy, but he has what it takes to be better. And that report form crushed my spirit. I began doubting myself. I began being critical of myself until I grew a little bit older and discovered that what that teacher thought was me being a noisemaker, I actually had a communication gift, and that is what I am using today to inspire you. I am created to be a communicator. I love to talk. I love to use words to lift the lives of people. And when I discovered what my gift is and I began using it to add value to people, I located my purpose. I don't need to be paid for it. I don't need to be rewarded for it. Every time I do it, I feel energy. I feel rejuvenated. I feel refreshed. You know why? I discovered my purpose. You cannot be productive until you discover what you're good at and begin to do it. You must discover your purpose. You must discover that which you do effortlessly and begin to do it. What that one thing makes you come alive? Is it cooking cakes? Is it being a mechanic? Do you love fixing broken things? Do you love taking electronics and opening them up and looking at what is inside of them? You must discover your purpose. You cannot be able to make something good out of your life until you discover why you are alive. The why in your life is the biggest motivation for your productivity. And so I want to challenge you today. Locate your purpose. Look for that one thing that you love doing. And when you do it, you feel passion, you feel energy, you feel fulfillment, and find it and begin to do it. The best way to find your way to wealth is to find what you're good at and find a way to monetize it. Find a way to get people to pay you doing what you love, and that is doing your purpose. Let me remind you today that as you go around your day, don't just go through life existing. Don't just go through life waiting for another day to end. I like saying, don't be like those people who wake up with the goal of ending the day. You know, they wake up and they pray, Lord, I thank you because you've given me a new day. And then they say, help me to wake up and to go through the day without being hurt so that I can go back to bed. That is not the way to live your life. Your life is supposed to be full of purpose, and your life is supposed to be full of energy. And what you need to do is to discover your purpose. Then number two, you not only need to discover your purpose, number two, you need to develop a possibility mentality. Don't go through life thinking about the things that are impossible, because the things that are impossible are simply things that have not been attempted. Those things are just waiting for somebody to attempt them, and they will be turned into a possibility. I am reminded about the marathon that happened the other day with one of our famous athletes, and they went and they ran through this marathon, and they were able to set a world record. Why were they able to set a world record? In fact, they said that the impossible is that which has not been tried. Don't go through life believing that there is something that is impossible. Impossibility is the mindset of the lazy. Impossibility is the mindset of people who are lacking initiative and are lacking drive in their lives. When you are driven, you realize that the only things that are impossible are the things that have not been attempted by men. Number one, I said, realize that there is a purpose for your life. If you're going to be productive, connect with your purpose in life. And then number two, not only connect with your purpose in life, build a capacity for possibility. Go through life looking for possibilities to conquer, not for impossibilities to shrink away from. You are created to conquer the impossible, and the only way to conquer the impossible is to believe it is actually possible. I love the words that have been repeated by historians, and they're the words of Jesus. He said, all things are possible if you can believe. The distance between a possibility and an impossibility is the belief in your heart. If you can begin believing, then you can be able to rise up and become productive in life. So number one, begin by having a purpose. Number two, begin by having a possibility mentality. Number three, begin by having a pioneering spirit. What is a pioneering spirit? A pioneering spirit is a courageous spirit that is bold, that does not wait for a trail to be sent, but it goes where there is no trail and it creates a trail. Have you been the kind of people that are always waiting for people to do things and then you can follow? Or are you the person that breaks away from the pack and says, you know what, I know this has not been done, but I am going to be the first one to be able to do it? The only way you can be rewarded is when you become a pioneer in the field. Anytime you stop pioneering, anytime you stop trailblazing, anytime you stop attempting new things, you become a commoner. And guess what? If you become a common man, you will live a common life, you will marry a common wife, then you will have common children, you will buy a house in a common neighborhood, and then you will die and we will bury you in a common grave, and then we will call you a common man. That is not the way to live your life. Live a trailblazing, pioneering life. Decide to try that which you've never tried. Don't live life like a coward. coward. There is no coward that is crowned. There is no crown for cowardice. In fact, you will be punished for your cowardice, but you will only be rewarded for your courage. Rise up and become the courageous person that you were created to be. Only the courageous become productive in life. Cowards complain about what has not been created, but the courageous go ahead and they pioneer and they become the creative voices of their generation. How about you rise up today and awaken that creative juice that is lying dormant on the inside of you? Why not wake up today and think a new thought and say a new word and dream a new dream and attempt something that you've never tried before? You are created to be a pioneer. You are not created to be passive. You are not created to go through life copying others and copy pasting what others have done. Bring something new to the table of life. You can never sit at the table of greatness until you decide to be a pioneer in your field. It is only trailblazers that are invited to the table of greatness. Number one, begin by having a purposeful reason for living. Number two, have a possibility mindset. Go through life believing that all things are possible. Number three, become a pioneer in your field. Then number four, and lastly, learn to persevere through the difficulties of life. There are certain things in life that cannot be conquered by people who have not developed their muscle of endurance. What does it mean to be a person who has an enduring spirit or a persevering spirit? It means that you crash beyond your breaking points. You decide, I am not going to be the kind of person that quits easily. In fact, if you look at any person who became a conqueror, a pioneer, a productive person in their generation, they deleted the word quit from their dictionary. The word quit does not exist in the dictionary of the productive. It only exists in the dictionary of the mediocre. There are certain things in life you will never get until you learn to move and not quit when things get difficult. I am reminded the story of Thomas Edison, who is said to have done the experiment on the bulb filament over 1,000 times, and he was asked by the guys who are looking at him, look guy, you need to give up, you need to quit, these things is not going to work. And he said, you know what, I am going to continue doing it. I have discovered 999 ways how not to invent the filament bulb. But he continued and he pressed on, and guess what, today we are able to enjoy bulbs and light even when there is no natural light, because somebody persevered and somebody endured and somebody refused to quit. Quitters never win, and winners never quit. You've got to decide that you're going to be that person that has a tenacious spirit. You've got to decide to be that person that never quits and never gives up, but you press on and you press in and you keep moving until you get what you want. You will never be an overcomer. You will never be productive if you quit easily, if you're distracted easily, if you are dissuaded easily when things get difficult. You must decide to be a person that pioneers and goes through the persevering that is required to be able to birth that which you need to birth. If you're going to be productive, I've given you 4 P's that you need to take note of. Number one, begin to live your life based on purpose, not based on pleasure, based on purpose, not based on passivity, based on purpose. And then number 2, we've said, have a possibility mentality. Believe it can be done. Be convinced that it can be done. Number 3, we've said, have a pioneering spirit. And then number 4, we have said, have a spirit that does not quit, but a spirit that perseveres until you get what you want. I want to challenge you to rise up. Refuse to live life counting days, but live life counting results. Look at what you've done, but the only way to get things done is to be purposeful, is to be possibility minded, is to be a pioneer. And number 4, decide that you're going to be persevering in everything you do. I do believe that those 4 tools will help you to rise up to the next level of productivity, and you're going to be able to live a life that has results and not just days that are hollow. May you have a good day, and I pray that you may rise up and make a demand on yourself to be more productive than you've ever been, because only the productive ever get rewarded. May you be one of those. We'll see you another time, and enjoy the rest of your viewing.